So I'm going to be doing my presentation in English, although I speak French and Spanish as well. One of my problems is I'm a fast talker. And I don't even know if I need this microphone, but I'll use it for now. My students always tell me, slow down. So if you need me to slow down, especially those at the back, just give me the sign. This is the sign that they always give me. So I'm a Canadian. And as a Canadian, Canadians have been involved with Haiti for a long time. You know, some people might wonder, what is a Canadian doing here talking about Haiti? We've been involved in Haiti for a long time, in part because there is a large Haitian diaspora that lives in Quebec, in our French province. And they have a lot of political influence. Quebec is a very important province in Canada that can sway politics. So Haitian politics has become very important in Canada. And Haiti is our second most important country in terms of assistance. So we give the most money to, anybody would guess, who would we give the most money? Think Canada. Who would Canada be giving the most money to of all third world countries? Any guesses? Afghanistan. Afghanistan is number one. And second is Haiti. And let me just say, even though Haiti is second, Afghanistan is way above. So that's just a little note. So the comments I'm going to make today are as a Canadian, as an outsider, as a representative of a country that has been working in Haiti for a long time. And I'm a person who has been studying Canadian policies towards Haiti and international donor policies towards Haiti for about 20 years. So I'm a little bit critical of what my government has done. Although I think my government has done some good things, I also think there are some problems. The topic today is restructuring of the state, or refoundationing the state, as Professor Castor has pointed out. And so I'm going to offer a few reflections of my own about what I feel is a really complex process in terms of democratizing a state, and especially doing it from the outside. Because as Canadians, we are saying to Haitians, here's what we think you should do to democratize your state. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Now, in my view, it is unclear whether Canada and other donors, outsiders, whether the objective vis-a-vis the Haitian state is actually reforming the state or transforming the state. The stated goal in all of our government documents is reducing fragility. Fragile states is a very big component of peace building and working in fragile states. And what it essentially means for Canadian policymakers is establishing a stable government in Haiti, number one, and number two, a competent bureaucracy. Okay? Now this seems to me like a logical first step. I have no problem with that. The problem that I think we must be mindful of is that it has often been the last step in terms of how countries like Canada work in countries like Haiti or Guatemala or Nicaragua and so on and so forth. And I think the experiences in Central America tell us that even though you had MINUGUA, a peace-building mission in Guatemala for years to institutionalize the peace accords, that there are still groups in Guatemala that are not politically represented, that are marginalized, and social forces that you would hope would have more influence on politics still do not, even after 10 years of assistance in terms of democracy building in that country. So we need to be mindful of moving beyond, in my view, the stable government and the competent bureaucracy. And if you look at the literature, because I'm a professor and I teach these things to students, the literature on democratization actually tells us that the dominant classes and their allies in the state and in civil society tolerate and or support democratization precisely because the change in regime that it entails is quite compatible with the powerful continuity of despotic forms of class and state power. So democratization is supported often by elites in certain societies because it doesn't mean a transformation of power relationships. It just means a transformation or a change of regime rather than social change. Okay. The second thing I want to do is just talk about the concept of state fragility, because Canada uses the term fragile state in its foreign policy towards Haiti. So does the European Union. So does the United States. This is a concept that's very important to donors. So I'd like to say a few words about the concept and how I think it relates to state reform, or reforming the state. I don't feel comfortable with the concept. I haven't felt comfortable with it for a long time, and I've been trying to figure out why. And I think it's that despite its acceptance by very influential actors, including Canada, there is considerable disquiet among academics, among professors, and among civil society groups, because it assumes a very particular normative model of the state. In other words, we're not saying to Haitians, you need to visualize and think about the state in terms of your own historical context and what you think the state should do. What we're saying to them is, here is what a state should look like. It should be liberal, democratic, market-friendly, and it should be accountable with very specific institutional requirements. We have a recipe for you in terms of what the state is, what it should do. Similarly, the notion fragile state has been critiqued by many in the global south for its excessive focus on the internal characteristics and dynamics of the states in question, like Haiti. So when we talk about state fragility, we talk about what is going on inside Haiti, right? So an example would be, there would be very little consideration from Canadian policymakers in terms of how Canadian policies may in fact increase fragility in Haiti. They would not think of it from the outside that international financial considerations could make fragility worse in Haiti. It's all about Haiti's own problems and its own internal political, historical, and social problems, rather than seeing that we could be contributing to those in terms of our own policy. So that's the second point. My own concern about the term is that the guidelines that flow from the concept of state fragility, in my view, don't really offer us any new insights into the problem of democracy building in a country like Haiti. Okay, so I don't think that it helps us in terms of understanding and knowing how to address the more intractable, the more difficult, the more stubborn obstacles to democracy in Haiti, such as entrenched predatory elites and the transformations of structures through which power is deployed. It helps us in terms of elections, very, very kind of important, but more surface, kind of surface issues towards democracy, like elections and technical capacity of the state, infrastructural reach of the state, these kinds of things. But it doesn't speak to us very much about power and how we change power relations to make democracy work. Now, I don't want to say that I don't think that addressing the state's implementing capacity is important. I think it is important.